Okay, so I did a video on this set a while back on Facebook, and I thought they were worthy of doing one again on YouTube. When I first came across this, I had never heard of these. I had never seen these. And I think it was in my Amazon feed. It kind of just popped up with some other color pencils, but this one completely caught my eye. And as someone who is not huge on a lot of image on a cover of the color pencils, this one could not have caught my eye more. And then after digging and trying to find the name of them, finding the Lost Girl, I was like, that is the greatest name for some color pencils. So I ended up picking this set up, and it was at an amazingly low price. So I thought, look, worst case, they stink, but I'll have learned something new and I can share something new with you. So that's what we're gonna do with Finding the Lost Girl. When picking up this set, it gives you two options. I have both of them simply to show you the differences. It comes like this. And let's look into it. These are the two options of your cases, both Alice in Wonderland themed. You could get either the blue one, which is Alice looking at the white rabbit, or the red one with the rabbit looking at Alice. The covers, the tins are different, but the pencils within them are identical. So it really comes down to which case you prefer. And this is not something I've seen often in the world of color pencils. So this was a really, really cool touch. So I went ahead, I'm going with this one. I'll probably end up giving this one away. I'm going to very, very briefly talk about this book. It has a little swatch sheet up front, but it's mostly just these images that, in my opinion, it looks like they were designed for an 8.5 by 11, but they had them on hand. They wanted to do something nice, so they shrunk them down and stuck them in this book. But the reality is the images are so tiny and the detail is so small that it's going to be almost impossible for you to even color this with even the sharpest pencil or with any kind of pen. So I don't think many people are going to actually use this, but let's jump into the pencils themselves. Very first thing we see is the rice paper over the pencils. We have their logo on the bottom of the lid. This is something that is just a little touch of class, a little touch of elegance. This is something they did not have to do, but they did do. And I love it when a company does this. The bottom we see, it has a nice gold inlay of their logo, and it has a great message. Focus on quality writing dream. It's nice. Let's look at these pencils. Gorgeous, gorgeous pencils. I was not expecting much from these pencils, probably because of the price. And number two, the marketing for these. The marketing's pretty awful. I'm going to be honest. When I looked for these the second time around, because a lot of people were asking where I'd gotten them, and it was hard for me to go back and refine these pencils again. And no matter where you find them at, there's always these horrible clip art pictures of these kids, and in their hands they Photoshop these oversized Lost Girl pencils in their hands as if these kids are having a great time using them, and it looks awful. But to take it a step further, they even have a picture of this landscape, and it is beyond digital, and what's right next to it, it's these pencils, as if to say you can do this with these pencils. And it's just bad, because the thing is, they actually have, if you click on one of the videos, they have a video of the person using these pencils. So why they wouldn't have just used that person drawing for their clip art or for their marketing is beyond me. I don't know why they went with the kids. I guess it was just laziness. I'm not sure. But here they are. They're beautiful. They're lovely. Now that I've got them in my hands, let's actually look at the pencils. The tray is pretty nice. I've had nicer pencils that didn't have a tray as thick as this. Now, it's not super thick, but at the same time, it's not extremely flimsy either. There's enough of this plastic for a support. We look at the bottom, and one of the things that did strike me as odd, they have one metallic. They have the metallic silver, and usually, at the absolute least, you get the silver and gold. In this case, you just got one silver, which is fine by me. I'd rather that silver even be replaced by a more useful color, because I just don't use metallics. But it is what it is. Let's look at one of these pencils in general. It has Dream Your Inspiration written on there. It has their logo again. And unfortunately, that is all you're going to find on this pencil. The reason we're able to get these pencils this cheap is because of reasons like that. They did put the extra love into some of the things like the rice paper, like the coloring book, the little bit thicker plastic, the options of which tin to get, but they are sacrificing in order to give us those. No number on these pencils, no name, no color. The reason this cuts down on the price is because that's a stamp that has to come into every pencil that's going to be different. So they would need 72 stamps to design each of their pencils with a unique number or with a unique name. Unfortunately, I would have personally paid the extra money to get that on these pencils because it makes labeling them, swatching them so much tougher when there's not a way. Because once I swatch these, if God forbid this tray would fall and all the pencils go out, there is zero way to put them back in order where you had them. Like there's zero way. Like take a picture of it just in case that happens. But the pencils, they are beautiful. There's a nice size lead. When I was swatching with these, I was holding the pencil at such an angle so the camera can get a good shot, and I was putting a pretty good amount of pressure, and that lead was hanging in there. It was solid. These feel a lot like a Naoni. They feel so much like a Naoni that I actually pulled out the Naoni pencils to see if they were the same. I thought maybe they just repackaged the wood around the lead, but at the end of the day, I gotta say, I'm pretty sure these are their own unique pencil brand. Let's look at the swatches. Let's look at some of these colors. For the price that you're getting, they have some of the most gorgeous colors. This palette is beautiful. Their pinks, their soft peaches, they even give you a decent range of purples and browns for what it is. Because when you're talking about 72 colors, there's usually not that many options when it gets to the browns and purples. But they have, for what it's worth, a really, really good range. And this is another one of those things that makes not being labeled, and being a cheaper end and having that little bit of that cheap gritty feel when you're coloring, this makes it worth it. This is the trade-off. These colors are about as vibrant as you're gonna find in a pack like this. For a cheap pencil, I'm telling you, these are 100% worth a purchase. They blend well, they layer well. Now, they're not gonna feel like a polychromo or any kind of other high quality oil pencil, but they are smooth enough that it makes them fun to use. There is a bit of grit when you hit certain colors, like I believe the red and the dark blue has a certain grit to it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is a cheaper pencil. You gotta roll with the punches when it comes to those things. But I will 100% continue recommending these, especially for someone who says, hey, is there a pencil you know of that's less than 20 bucks that's not Crayola? I will point at the Lost Girl. And if you were looking just to enlarge your collection, if you're looking for another type of oil pencil or just a fun pencil to use that's not gonna break the bank, 100% recommend finding the Lost Girl.
Sugar Solito.